welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
It is time to celebrate fall in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Founded in 1714, Natchitoches is the original French colony and oldest city in Louisiana. It's also home to the Cane River Creole National Historical Park. It is part of the Cane River National Heritage Area, and it is at the end. It's the final stop on the El Camino Real de los Tejas National Historic Trail, and it's one of our favorite places for sure. Right, Nancy?
It's so much fun.
I know. Today on Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station Travel Show, we have three special guests who are going to tell us about some fall events coming up. We're talking historic homes, car shows. We're going to go into the dark woods.
I love that.
Apparently there's beer and wine involved, some cemeteries.
Ooh, behind every tree there's a bottle.
I know. Classic films like Steel Magnolias.
Cool.
There's always something to celebrate in Natchitoches, and even on social media, you can do hashtag celebrate Nat, N-A-T. And Natchitoches is just not spelt the way you would think with how I'm pronouncing it. And so I'm just going to say, I'm going to bring our first guest in, Arlene Gould. She's the Executive Director of Natchitoches, CVB, the Convention Visitor Bureau. So you can go to natchitoches.com, but we're going to get the lowdown on how to pronounce it properly and spell it. So, Arlene, how are you? Welcome to the Spelling Bee.
I'm doing very well. Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, it is always so good to have you on the show. We're excited. Nancy and I, we got itchy feet. The tires on the car are ready to roll. I know Brad Ferguson, who's coming on, likes to hear about tires rolling and moving because we're going to talk about car shows.
Absolutely.
But we're coming this fall to Natchitoches as part of our Hola to Hi Y'all tour, but apparently last time you said it's Hey Y'all, right?
That's correct. It's Hey Y'all.
Okay, so that's part one of the spelling bees, Hey Y'all versus Hi Y'all. But Natchitoches, give everybody the lowdown on, did I pronounce it correctly? Number one.
You did good. Natchitoches. And it is spelled Natchitoches. However, we pronounce it Natchitoches, N-A-C-K, and then like a little dash, and then T-I-S-H. So it's Natchitoches.
I think this needs to officially go into the spelling bee thing, don't you think? Like,
that would be a good one. That would be a really good one.
You managed to get Natchitoches in every place. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up on like the National Spelling Bee.
I think people just like to say it. Once they learn how to say it, it just kind of rolls off their tongue. Natchitoches.
It makes me hungry for some reason.
Actually, before we met you and went there, we used to call it natchitoches.
Natchitoches.
And then we get that a lot.
Well, you know how we like our wine. Do you know how we say it after wine? Like, no. It's a complicated thing, but it's really not. Everybody, it's Natchitoches, natchitoches.com is where you go. They've got an incredible calendar of events. There's always something happening in Natchitoches. It is the oldest city in Louisiana, as I was saying, and Nancy and I have been there as part of our Spirit of America tour, our quest to visit and cover all national park units, their gateway communities, and of course they have a national park site. They're also a heritage area, and a lot of history. But I want to bring our next guest on, and then we'll get into what's happening this fall. And our next guest is Brad Ferguson, and he's joining us to talk about the 12th Annual Natchitoches Classic Car Show. It happens September 28th through 29th, and you can go to natchitoches-car-show.com. Brad, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, we're doing good. So listen, first thing, apparently my car's too new to go in, and I've been holding on to my car. Like if it's 2010, it's too old, too new, too young.
Just slightly.
To be a little older, right?
Yes, we expanded our registration this year to include vehicles from 1987 and older. So if you hang on to it another 20 years or so, we might let it in the car show.
See, you never know. When we buy cars, we don't really think about like it could end up in a classic car show, but we could start thinking about this. Like, would a RAV4 make it into a classic car show like 20 years from now? Do you really think that? I mean, do we think about that back in the day?
It might, but it's yet to be seen what'll be a classic in 20 or 30 years.
Okay. So 1987. Why 1987?
Yeah.
There's been a real rise in popularity of the square body trucks, which are the Ford and Chevrolet trucks that were reduced. The Chevrolets from 1973 to 87, and the body style changed, and the Fords really from 79 to about 86 or 87, then the body style changed. Are very popular trucks right now. So we've decided to expand the age range to try to bring these trucks in because they're all 30 plus years old and being restored. So they truly are classics and not daily drivers anymore.
So what about a Ford F-150? Would that be, that's a truck, right? Just making
it's a truck, and if it's old enough, it's welcome here.
Okay, so
anything that's old enough is welcome.
Okay, so a Ford F-150, what age would that be, do you think? Like
they made Ford F-150s, they started off with the F-1 and the F-100, then the F-150 came out in the late 60s, early 70s, and they still continue making it today. But a F-150 built from 1987 or older would be welcome in the show.
Wow.
I want one.
We're just trying to keep it with classic vehicles. New vehicles, while they're wonderful, we can see those at the dealership. So we're trying to do our car show with vehicles you wouldn't see every day.
Oh, I like
exactly.
that. I like that. I want to bring our next guest on. He's going to spook us all out. Jason Summerlin. He is from the Natchitoches Dark Woods Haunted Attraction. You can go to darkwoods.com, and apparently there's like a trail. Everybody knows we love getting people out walking. We have a 1 hour walk Facebook group, and apparently he has a third mile that we can walk that we may be really scared on, and we may need to put this on our 1 hour walk. Is that right, Jason? Welcome.
That is correct. How are you doing this evening? Good to be here.
Good to have you on the show. I've been watching in the calendar on natchitoches.com and keep seeing this about the dark woods, and I keep going, what's going on with the dark woods, man? And so I'm really glad you're here because it's like, okay, you're going to get spooked out in the forest, and it's interesting because you got to think about Natchitoches. A lot of people think Louisiana is a swamp. Like we are here in Tucson, Arizona. Everybody thinks we're just one big sand pile with gumby trees, which would be our saguaro cactus. But you do have like pine trees and forests, and things could happen in there.
We do have the real deal. We actually, Dark Woods Haunted Attraction is a 17-acre piece of property. We've developed about 6 acres or so at this point. We actually have 2 haunted attractions that we open for the Halloween season beginning on September 21st. We have the Deadfall Trail, which is our 1/3 of a mile trail that goes through a number of scenes and sets populated with live actors and animatronics and Hollywood style special effects. And then our second house is the Dark Carnival in 3D, which is Louisiana's only chroma depth 3D haunted attraction, and it's all an indoor house, and it's a crazy carnival set in the 1930s. And again, it's all very unique. We have about 50 or so actors on staff each night that we're open, so the entire park is completely populated with a crew from the trail, a crew from the carnival, and then we have roaming street monsters, which are our higher end Hollywood quality performers, and they're out in the park roaming the streets for photos and entertainment throughout the evening.
Yeah, I love it.
This is cool though.
So cool.
So
cool.
Give everybody the dates again of when this all takes place.
Sure. We open Friday, September 21st, and we're open Friday and Saturday nights only through the end of September, all the way up through October 31st. And that Halloween week, we open Thursday night for NSU Demon Night, and then our regular Friday, Saturday schedule. And then we'll take a few days off this year because Halloween falls in the middle of the week, and we'll reopen for the final performance on Halloween night.
You have a demon night. Ooh.
We do. The NSU Demons are part of the backbone of our community here in Natchitoches. So we do what we can do to support NSU, and we've started Demon Night. This will be our 4th year for Demon Night on Thursday night.
Okay, this is trippy. Like
I
just saying Arlene, and then you go into Big Christmas, but from the demons to Christmas. I'm just saying you never know what you're going to get in Natchitoches. And I know that one of the highlights of fall is the historic home tour, the fall tour of homes. And this year, isn't it 64 years now?
64. 64.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time they've been doing this, and this is the Association for Preservation Historic Natchitoches. They've been doing the fall tour of homes or the fall pilgrimage now. This will be the 64th year. So.
Wow. Wow.
And this year, Clementine Hunter's house will be one of the featured homes. Clementine Hunter, the famous folk artist.
Yeah.
So she's going to be kind of the focal point of this year's tour. So her house will be open to the public.
Wow. That's amazing. And Clementine Hunter is, famous, folk artist, and she actually used to be at Melrose Plantation, right? So is her house connected to the plantation, or?
It was moved to the plantation grounds several years ago, and it's actually a small cabin where she lived and painted, and so the cabin is now on the grounds with Melrose Plantation, and of course Melrose was always on the tour because that's the home that that they have open year round for tours. And so if you go to the Melrose Plantation any time of the year, you would see the cabin or Clementine Hunter's home where she lived and painted on the grounds, but it's not always open. This is really the first time that it's going to be open to the public.
Oh, wow. I want to be there. Okay, we got to adjust scheduling here. But everyone, melroseplantation.org, I encourage you to go there. Nancy and I have had the privilege of going to Melrose Plantation. We've done a couple features on nationalparktraveling.com, our website. If you go there, type in Natchitoches, natchitoches.org. I'm giving you .com, excuse me. No. But just type in Natchitoches. I'm just into my spelling bee mode now. But if you type in Natchitoches, you'll find a lot of the places we've been to, and that's the thing. We haven't even scratched the surface of what there is to do in Natchitoches. And every time Arlene comes on a show and brings guests on, we're like, oh my gosh, we got to move there. You never know. But Melrose Plantation was so fascinating to me. The history of people moving through, and women's history. Clementine, going out, and she actually worked in the fields and worked in the kitchens, right? And then at that time, the plantation was kind of like an artist and writer's retreat, and then she kind of got into that fold. Yeah,
that is correct, and that's what happened. Clementine picked up some paint left behind by one of the, the painter that had come out there, an artist that had come out there and left behind some paint, and so she picked it up and got started. So self-taught, and
Wow.
The rest is history.
And so then also I'm looking at the brochure for the home tour, and it's not only are you going to homes, but you're also getting to have like presentations. There's actually speakers as well.
Yes, that is correct. And this year they're doing something really interesting on the Friday night tour, which is always the candlelight tour. They're actually going to be doing tours on the grounds of Northwestern State University. That's our local university that's been open since 1884. That's where we get our Northwestern Demons from. But that's the local football. That's their what do you call their mascot? So, but they're going to be doing a candlelight tour, and the president's home will be on the tour. Dr. Chris Maggio, the president of Northwestern, and then they also have, a couple of the other, older buildings. Northwestern actually has about 22 buildings on the campus that are historic landmark buildings, and they actually have their own historic landmark district because they have so many historical, landmark buildings in a concentrated area.
Wow.
So this is something new. They've never done this before, the candlelight tour at Northwestern campus. And then you've got the town tour on Saturday, which are local homes that are normally private homes, but they'll be open to the public. And so you'll have some of the town tour homes on Saturday. And then on Saturday and Sunday, you can do the plantation tours, down the Cane River National Heritage Area. You can do those on both days. Saturday.
And so that's
Sunday.
really like following the Cane River Trail in some ways, right?
That's correct, following the trail. You got Cherokee Plantation, which is only open to the public on this particular weekend every year. You have Oakland Plantation, which is the national park. It's open throughout the year. And then you also have Melrose, and then you have the church fair at St. Augustine Church going on that weekend. And you have the cemetery tour going on that weekend.
You said cemetery tour. I want the cemetery tour.
Me too.
There's a thing about it,
It's an award-winning cemetery tour, and it's put on by the Natchitoches Historic Foundation.
Oh, that brings us back to Brad, because doesn't that kind of connect with you also being, well, no, it's all different foundations, but you're actually part of the Natchitoches Historic District Business Association, right? That's
correct.
On the car show.
We put on the car show and the Christmas festival.
And so this is what, every time we've done a show with Arlene, and also our time that we were in Natchitoches, which we still say is never enough time in Natchitoches, it is interesting to me, because it always feels like it's always about if you're going to put on an event, you're going to party, you're going to celebrate, you're going to listen to music, there's always good food, there's going to be something historic, there's going to be something you learn, but there's always going to be some kind of benefit to it. There's always going to be either a fundraiser, something like that. But this is really about the Historic Business Association. So this is part of the tourism mission, right, for what the car show is about, right? It's kind of getting people out there and people connecting.
Yes, it is. The car show was started as an event to try to bring people to Natchitoches, to show people what Natchitoches is, and what better way in a historic town than historic cars.
I agree, because you're going to slow down. The guys are going to look at the cars, and the women, the ladies are going to be like, I see that dress in that shop window.
Exactly,
I'm going in there.
Window.
And then you could go into the mercantile, the oldest mercantile in the state, right, Arlene? It's the oldest.
That is correct, since 1863.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time in there.
Yeah, I like it in there, because you can get Coca-Cola like in the old school bottle, and then
Cool.
But that's the thing. You go downtown, I want to just set it up that people understand, like, this is like Front Street, right? Arlene, tell me if I'm right or wrong here.
That's correct. Front Street,
going on memory,
and Cane River, or along the lake.
Yeah, along the lake, which has been
so pretty.
Now you've got a new thing that we have to see on the lake, right? Like,
you're gonna love it all over again. It's beautiful down there.
I can't wait. And you got flowers. There's like gardens, beau jardins, restaurants, and there's also an area which is like, it's all brick paving in the street, right? Brick. Am I right?
That's correct. Over 110-year-old bricks, brick lined street. That is correct.
Wow. And so then you have classic cars. Is this where it is happening, Brad? The cars are parked downtown like that.
We line up the classic cars on the riverbank, on Front Street, and this year we'll be down Tulane Street and 2nd Street. As we continue to grow, we have to take in more and more area to fit the cars.
So what's the oldest car that you have?
We have had a early 1900s Model T, an original Model T, a 1915 or 16 model, so a car that's over 100 years old before.
Wow.
Awesome.
So I was reading on your website, and it seems like you've had a lot of growth. And one of the years, I think it was 2016, you had like about 411 cars. How many cars do you expect this year, 2018?
We're hoping with the new riverbank, and we're adding more entertainment, more stages for more bands, and trying to do more for the participants, that we'll be around 450 cars this year, if not more. If the weather's perfect, we should have a great turnout.
How do you manage that? I mean, do you go out there with like, a big wand and say, you will park here?
No, we actually have a crew of people that handles parking, help line the cars up. And most of the people who attend car shows are experienced to this, so they have a relatively good idea of how to put their cars.
Yeah, and so it starts on Friday, September 28th, everybody. And so that day, everybody has registration, right? And then you have a poker run that day. So tell us where that goes.
Yeah, our poker run will go from 7 different businesses. We haven't finalized the route yet, but at each route, a participant who is also a registered car and their passengers have the ability to draw a card. And at the end, they've collected 7 cards. They strike out the 2 they don't want, and that gives them a 5-card hand. And that night at the fish fry, we award monetary prizes for the top 3 hands.
Oh, and
Just gives you something fun to do where you can make a little money.
Oh,
That's cool.
fish fry. Now, is this catfish? I mean, what?
That's it. That's true. Yeah, southern catfish, hand cut, hand battered, and fried right there in front of you on the riverbank with live entertainment that night.
See, it's all about the catfish, and then you're right there on the river, and you have music. See, that's the thing too. You can't have cars without music. I'm just saying, it goes hand in hand. You have live music out there. Is that Friday night or Saturday or both?
That's Friday night. Then Saturday we have live music on 4 different bands throughout the day, 4 different stages throughout the day, rotating between 9 or 10 bands. So lots of different musical offerings on Saturday.
Wow. So this is really cool because I know communities that have events, and then if it's outside the district, everybody goes, you're taking it away from the downtown. And at the same time, it's just so important that the downtowns get that kind of influx, that people do walk around. And that's what you were saying at the beginning of our conversation, Brad, that's why you did it, is that it gets people to meander around and, see the views, see the cars. It's something beneficial for all people. And I think it's important that there are, Arlene, you got a downtown with a riverfront. You can't go wrong.
How much easier does it get?
I know.
Awesome.
But I think, Brad, that's something important because a lot of times people will just, even, as travelers, will just get gas and keep on the highway. And this is something that gets people to say, you know what, I'm going to spend a few more hours. Maybe I'll drive up from New Orleans or Dallas, or because you're not that far from any of it, Brad. So I think, where do you think everyone's locally from Natchitoches that registered?
Oh no, we have had cars for as far away as California come to our show. Now that's an anomaly, but we regularly get cars from Arkansas, Texas, occasionally Oklahoma, Mississippi, and from South Louisiana driving up. It's a very good venue. The people that put the show on, we attend shows all over the United States, and I'll tell you that we have one of the best venues, if not the venue, of any show that we attend. We've got the riverbank, we've got the restaurants, we have the shops, the museums. It's something for everybody to do. It's not just for the car owners. If their wives or children come and they don't want to play with the cars, they can go in the shops, they can go out to eat, they can go check out the Sports Hall of Fame Museum. Plenty to do in Natchitoches, always plenty to do.
And there's meat pies, and that festival's happening the week before, right? Everybody, that the meat pies, just saying, that is something. I hate to tell you all, but I'm a vegetarian and I love the meat pies. I didn't say that, Arlene, but it's true. It's true.
You cheat so many times.
I cheat on the road.
Funny.
I know, because I want to eat what's going on. I want to eat what's happening in the town. But the meat pies that we had at Lazion's, and did I say that right this time?
You did. You did good.
I'm learning. But this is the thing. Natchitoches is so central. It's one of those places that, not only easy for visitors, but it makes people want to move there because it's so central, right? So Dallas, Arkansas, all these places are, even Nashville's not that far from you.
That's true.
I think Nashville's a little bit, I think it's about like an 8-hour drive or something like that. But
it's a one-day drive.
Planning our road trip,
It's doable.
I'm like we're going from Natchitoches up the Natchez Trace to Nashville.
I want to do it in a vintage car.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Ooh.
That takes like months.
I know, but that's the thing. Natchez Trace, Brad, is that a good trip to take in a classic car? It's got to be, right?
If you like to drive slow, the speed limit on the Natchez Trace is generally 50 miles an hour, so it's a scenic drive.
Oh, I like it. It goes right.
And our classic cars don't necessarily drive slow. I mean, we can drive interstate speeds anytime we like. So.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, most of them have been modified with newer engines or transmissions, and I can take my '55 Chevy and run it down the interstate all day long at 75 miles an hour.
Oh, you got those fins on the back like my granny's car.
Yeah,
the fins on the back. But I helped restore in South Africa I think it was 1912 Ford Model T.
Yeah, those run about 30 miles an hour.
Well, I never got it up to go that fast because there's something they call a double clutch, which I didn't get to hang up. And it chugged along, but it was really fun because it's kind of like riding a horse.
Okay, wait, Nancy. Okay, now Jason, you'll enjoy this. Okay, bringing in the creepiness and the cars. Nancy did this Mulligan trip that she raced one of the cars, like as slow as you can go, right? It's like a poker run, Brad. And this is in South Africa. She took the car out and she drove it barefoot because it's the only way she could feel what was going on. And what happened under your foot, Nancy, that one?
The cockroaches came up.
And she squished a cockroach with her bare foot while she was driving because she had to. Just saying.
Because they're heavy, like they don't turn so easy, you know?
Yeah.
But it was cool. I loved it.
Well, we'll be glad to keep it creepy for you. I'd love to give either one of you a ride in either of my hearses while you're here.
Oh my God, let's do it. Let's do it. Jason, tell me about this dark carnival in 3D. What happens? I mean, is this like a movie? What happens?
No, it is a multi-room walk-through maze that is completely it's a black light event or a black light interior. I want to say we're up to 13 different scenes and rooms in that thing now. Everything from giant oversized puppets, which I can't do them justice by describing them, to we actually end with a 20-foot rotating room that the entire room rotates as you're walking through it.
Oh, cool.
And it's all black light. You wear 3D glasses while you're inside the house.
Cool.
It's a very unusual. Chroma depth is a different type of 3D than you're accustomed to. It takes the color scale and it makes some colors closer to you and other colors farther away. So it really distorts your depth perception. Sometimes the ceilings, the floors, I mean, you're completely surrounded by all these very disorienting things. It's very loud. It has a great multi-zone soundtrack and lots of crazy actors and things that go along with it to completely confound and confuse.
Do I need those pant things, like, in case I go pee?
You might want to consider that. You might want to consider that. This is just we're going into our 4th season, and we have consistently for the last 2 years made ScareFactor.com's list of must-see haunts in the United States.
Awesome.
So we're proud to be an up-and-coming haunted house in the industry. We were very our staff is what makes us so good. Last year we were listed as number 4 in the top rated haunts in the state of Louisiana, which we have a lot of competition. I think we have close to 30 commercial haunted houses in the state of Louisiana now.
Well, you need to creep them all out so you can be number 1 because you're Natchitoches, and that's it. Natchitoches always ends up on every single good list of everything.
I know.
We follow with a lot of good Natchitoches traditions. We have, we have some of the haunts and ghosts that you'll hear about in the trail of the tour of homes. We'll bring them to life with our versions at Darkwoods.
Oh, wow.
But we bring plenty of good food. You can stop by the donut shop and enjoy deadly donuts. We've got full concessions of food and street entertainment and everything here. But we just do a little different twist on what folks are used to here in Natchitoches. We just make it a little darker and a little spookier.
So this is the thing, because when you think about like Louisiana and swamps and bayous, there's like a creepiness with that, right? And even going in the forest, and there's like a really good creepy element, which is what I'm drawn to. I'm like into that. It's cool. So how old should you be to go into this? Like, I don't know if fear
That's a really good question.
changes as age, but
we do not suggest Darkwoods for very young children because it is in places. It is, the park itself is not so much, but the houses, the attractions themselves can be graphic. We try to keep a family atmosphere, but for an older family group. You don't want to bring your 4, 5, and 6-year-old there necessarily. We don't mind them being there. Our actors are actually trained to treat children differently than they treat others. it's a good way. We don't, even though we don't have to go home with them and be with them when they wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Their parents do. Sometimes people don't make the best decisions. So we try to suggest that you keep it for an older group, an adult. Our median demographic is between 18 and 34. So we cater to that. We cater to that crowd throughout the park.
And so where do your actors, I mean, are these students at the university that come in, or because that's who works with you?
Well, we have actually, going into our 4th year, we have about 25% of our staff carries over every single year, and they're from every imaginable walk of life, from police officers and medical professionals to students, mailmen, teachers, you name it. Just people who enjoy Halloween and enjoy live theater. We do draw heavily from the drama department at Northwestern, but it's just it's a very eclectic group of people. There's really not one certain type of person. You never know who the Halloween enthusiast is in the group.
This is interesting. I want to go back to Arlene too, thinking about like the cemetery tour that happens, because your cemetery, I believe, is around like 1737. It's like one of the oldest cemeteries in.
It is. The American Cemetery is the oldest cemetery in the Louisiana Purchase territory.
Wow.
It's a really beautiful cemetery, actually. It's it kind of sounds strange, but I enjoy going there when I have visitors. I like to take them there because, well, for one reason, the movie scene from Steel Magnolias, the funeral scene, was filmed there at the American Cemetery. So, I kind of take them to the film site where that part of the movie was filmed.
And people can go there, right? That's also part
of
the.
Oh, yeah. It's open to the public daily. Uh-huh.
And part of the historic home tour, or am I getting that off?
On Friday, October the 12th, which is the weekend of the 64th annual Fall Tour of Homes, they will have the American Cemetery and what they call morning tour that Friday night from 5:30 until 8 o'clock. And so when you tour the cemetery, you'll get to meet some of the famous people from Natchitoches, like the founder of Natchitoches, Louis Duchereau de Saint Denis, or Claude Thomas Pierre Matoire. Of course, he was the famous Frenchman who had many children with Marie Therese Quan from Melrose. And they'll have other characters that are being portrayed that you'll meet there. Miss Cammie Henry, who was the owner of Melrose Plantation, and so they'll have some different people that are buried in there that will come to life and tell their stories.
We have to go. We have to go to the cemetery. We've now got our third Friday Family History Radio show with Miss Holly T. Hansen, who comes on shows, and we had a conversation just recently about Natchitoches, and you got me connected on this Facebook group of what's going on in the Cane River area of family history, and there's a lady that wrote a book. You know who I'm talking about, Arlene Gould, got me into this.
Elizabeth Shone Mills.
That's it. And you got it. And isn't her name on there? It was her husband who wrote it, but she put her name.
Yes, he wrote Forgotten People, Gary Mills.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent books. And Elizabeth Shone Mills, she wrote Isle of Canes, which is a historical novel based on a lot of the actual records from churches and courthouses and other documents, legal documents. So. Yeah,
I want to read that.
I know, me too. And I was talking to Holly about this, and I said, well, we're going to Natchitoches, and this has got to be like a hotbed for anybody looking for their family history. Do a lot of people come to Natchitoches to research their family history, or go to the cemetery?
Yes, they do, and we have an excellent genealogy library that's open Tuesday through Saturday here in the Historic District. It's actually located in the old courthouse on 2nd Street, right next to Lazion's restaurant. So we have an excellent genealogy library with records dating back to the 1700s from the church, records.
Wow. Okay, well, you know what's happening when we come back out.
Well, your list is getting long about things you want to do when you get here.
Well, I can't help it. You guys have a lot going on. And one thing I want to touch on, you got the St. Augustine Church Fair happening, and St. Augustine is it should be on the. Is it a National Historic Landmark?
It is. It was just named the National Historic Place last year. And of course, the church dates back to over 100. I think from 1803. The church fair is probably over 150 years, and it's always on the second weekend in October, which is the same weekend as the Tour of Homes. So,
wow.
Yep.
October 12th through 14th. The other thing I saw, I know you guys posted on Facebook, and everybody celebrate Natchitoches. Go connect with them on Facebook. There's so many events and so many things happening. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I saw that there's a brand new festival that I'm like, there's a lot happening the weekend of the 12th. Okay, I'm just saying, of October. Taptober. It's a new craft beer and wine festival coming to Natchitoches.
Wow.
And I'm like, you can go to taptober.com to check it out. But I think this is really cool, and it benefits the Natchitoches Regional Medical Center Foundation and the Northwestern Louisiana Cancer Foundation. What's going on here? We just keep having one festival after the other, Arlene.
Well, we've got that brand new riverbank down there and a brand new stage, so we're real anxious to show it off. And, if it was up to us, we'd have something every weekend. But this is a new event. They're going to have live entertainment and, like you said, several beer crafters, and then also wine tasting. But we're looking forward to that. It's scheduled for October the 6th, which is the first weekend in October. Fall tour second weekend in October. So, but yeah, we're excited.
October.com, check it out. And then the one thing I want to say, you mentioned Steel Magnolias, and this is the 30th year, right, of it being filmed in Natchitoches, and also it is a Natchitoches story. It's a true story. That is correct. Important part to say.
That is true. 30 years ago this summer, the film crew came to Natchitoches and filmed the movie in its entirety. They built a stage over at Northwestern, a sound stage over at Northwestern campus, and filmed. The movie was filmed here, and it just kind of took off. It was based on a true story about Susan Harling. Of course, Julia Roberts played her character in the movie, and 30 years ago this summer, and then of course it'll be 30 years next year that it was actually, released into the movie theaters.
Wow.
So we're celebrating 30 years of Steel Magnolias. So.
And you can go, there's a trail, so if you go to natchitoches.com, natchitoches.com, you'll be able to follow that whole trail. They have that up on their website. It's really cool. There's a brochure you can download. It's very cool that you can go and follow that. And we have Steve Schneikert, our Hollywood historian, that keeps saying, when you go to Natchitoches, you got to do that too. So the one thing I want to bring up too is Christmas. Christmas in Natchitoches starts in the fall. We don't wait till December 22nd or 20th, 21st, whenever winter says, hey, we're here. Natchitoches starts in November. And I want to bring Brad on for this, Brad, because this really the Christmas festival is part of the Natchitoches Historic District Business Association, right? It's one of your events?
Yes, it is.
Right.
And several years ago, the Chamber of Commerce put on the Natchitoches Christmas Festival, and they were looking to get more into business development. And because of our success with the natchitoches-car-show, they approached the Historic District Business Association about taking over the Christmas Festival duties, and we did. So it's been good.
Okay, so Jason, was that you with a scream in the background? I just want to know what that was. Jason, I know it's
you. It wasn't, but I'll take credit for it.
Okay, I would. If I were you, I'm
just going like, that was cool. That was cool.
It was a year.
Yeah, but the Celebrate Christmas, Arlene, am I right? It's the 92nd annual Christmas Festival of Lights. Starts November 17th this year, right?
That's correct. The lights always come on the Saturday before Thanksgiving, and we keep them on every night, all 300,000 of them, and over 100 set pieces along the river here in the Historic District. And they stay on through January the 6th of the following year, so January 6, 2019. That's right, the Epiphany, which is the start of the Mardi Gras season. So, November 17th through January 6th this year.
No wonder you guys have to celebrate Lent. Like you get to this point, like you've got Christmas and then you've got Mardi Gras, and at the end, your body needs to just stop.
But it starts all over
such
again.
a big party. That's the thing. You need a break. We need a break. Your body goes like, hey, and then it starts up again. There is always something going on. This is a really big event, and it's huge. And again, you can go to natchitoches.com for that. But Jason, apparently, you changed from creepiness to Christmasiness for this?
We do. Christmas is a season in Cane River country everywhere, and it's just our way of celebrating Christmas along with everything else. We have a beautiful park that we have very little opportunity to open to the public because of our seasonal schedule, and we've chosen several years ago to take advantage of that and reopen for the Christmas season and drop all the scary stuff. And we bring in fire pits, and you can sit out and roast s'mores and have hot coffee and hot chocolate. We have a variety of gourmet chocolates and just a lot of actually this year we're bringing in new live music. We have character meet and greets with Mrs. Claus does a story time every night, and just different things to keep people in the park, kind of a way to get away from some of the more crowded Christmas venues and just come spend some time in the woods and stroll along that 2/3 of a mile and be immersed in the lights, as opposed to looking at them from afar. Here you can be right in the middle of everything and just enjoy the Christmas season.
This is cool. I like this. So it's very family oriented, whether it's Halloween or Christmas. It's very family
Absolutely.
oriented, right?
Absolutely. As weird as that is to say, yes, it is.
Does it go to Christmas visit?
That's right. Well, and going back to to Halloween with the family oriented, we were talking last night because the Historic District Business Association also does a scarecrow thing that they do downtown, where many of the businesses do individual scarecrows that we put downtown throughout the month of October, and then they also do a pumpkin glow so that families can carve pumpkins and do the pumpkin glow down in the park together. So we like to get the whole family down here for fun. So
I love that. I think that the downtown is always a heartbeat of a community. Mm-hmm. And the more events you do, the better, and especially family-friendly events. That's Brad. That's really what you're doing with these events, right? Through the the Natchitoches Historic Business District. Natchitoches Historic District Business Association, I should say. You got a long name there, but that's really it. Is about getting people downtown. But if we don't use our main streets and our downtowns, like where does the heartbeat of America go? That's how I look at it.
That's exactly right. And Natchitoches has such a beautiful downtown and historic district. With all the historic homes, the brick streets, the wrought iron railings, we're a perfect place to host a car show or a festival. And we just love it when people come experience our town like we get to every day.
Yeah. So let's talk about fall. Before we go, we got some good music lined up for you guys. We always do. It's Louisiana. You always got to have good music. I want to know, you've got family that just, how people just pop in and say, hey, we're coming to hang out with you for the weekend. Hey, y'all, like we're going to do to Arlene real soon. So you got family coming over. What are you going to do for a weekend? None of you are working on the weekend, regardless of what your job schedules are, because we have extra powers. Jason gave them to us. So the Dark Woods said, hey, here it is. But how are you going to spend a fall weekend in Natchitoches? And, I want to start with you, Arlene, because I want people to understand, you think about Louisiana, we know it gets warm in the summer like we do in Tucson. It's not as really... My hair might get a little curlier with you. Like recently, I learned
the humidity.
I'm getting curly hair lately here in the monsoon season. Pretty cool.
You look better.
It's far better. It's better sculpting for your face. I'm just saying. But what happens in the fall? We've never been to Natchitoches. We went in the beginning of summer, and so what's it like in the fall?
Well, if we get lucky, we'll have some nice, cool, crisp evenings with some beautiful sunsets. And that way we can walk up and down, Front Street and go down along the promenade, along the riverbank, and just, take in the atmosphere of downtown. Fedore's just named Natchitoches as one of America's 25 cutest main streets in small towns, and of course, Southern Living named us the best small town in Louisiana.
Oh, here she goes.
I know, it's like, oh, here we go. But one of my favorite ones is Natchitoches was named the most festive place in every state. So, of course, for the state of Louisiana, we were the most festive.
You beat out New Orleans, huh?
Well, what can we say? We're older than New Orleans, so, we've got a little bit on them anyway.
You're not right.
But,
go, girl.
So now we're just really proud of our community. And I know I tell you that every time we talk and have an interview, but for those who have visited Natchitoches and have seen for themselves, what a quaint community that it is, and we have received a lot of accolades and recognition, but we're very proud of our community.
Oh, you should be. It to me is one of the favorite places we have been in this country. Like really traveling around and living in different countries, but this Natchitoches, I just remember when we got downtown, Nancy and I just stopped and went, oh my gosh, this is like the epitome of everything that's quality of life is right here in this downtown. And then we started exploring and we're like, okay, it's far bigger than the downtown. Now we got to go further, and it just keeps getting better everywhere. It's like, it's beautiful. The water, the trees, and
well, for a small town, we have a population of about 18,000 in the city limits and about 40,000 in the parish. Of course, most people are familiar with counties, but Louisiana has parishes, so we are still considered pretty rural. And for a small town, we do have a lot going on, and I always do say how blessed we are to have a national park with two different park sites, and the Cane River Natural Heritage Trail and the National Historic Landmark District, and we're just we're very blessed to have a lot of things going for us. The State Museum,
the Tejas, you got that trail too, the El Camino de los Tejas,
the El Camino Real. That's correct.
National park designations through that, so it's a lot, and also the Louisiana Scenic Byway. So everybody remember the Sunday drive, So Brad, I'm just saying with the cars, doesn't that also bring us back to the Sunday drive for people?
Oh, there's nothing better than taking a classic car and coming through Natchitoches and riding down Cane River on a beautiful fall day.
So what are you going to do when your family knocks on your door and says, hey, friends or family come in from out of town and say, we're here for the weekend for fall. What are you going to do?
We're going to load up and we're going to come to Front Street. We're going to take in one of the shops and the restaurants, and if it's a Saturday and there's a home Northwestern ball game, we'll take that in. There's always something to do in Natchitoches. So it's never a challenge to find something to do with family and friends.
I'm glad you said the sports part, because you got the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and that's a really impressive place, and Nancy and I need to go investigate it further, but this is a landmark thing, so it doesn't become a Sports Hall of Fame for nothing, right? There's a reason it's there. So the university and games, that's part of what happens in Natchitoches, right? Is the sports.
That's correct. Our Northwestern Demons have we have football, basketball, volleyball, baseball, softball, tennis. Every sport that any college has, and they're very competitive, and it's fun to watch, and it gives you something to do.
I like it, and it's healthy. It's good stuff. You got to get out there and move around. Jason, for you on what happened? I know fall is a heavy season for you, but you get a weekend off no matter what, because we have that ticket. We have that license to give you a weekend off. What are you going to do in the fall with your friends and family?
I'm a bit of a lake rat. I'm going to spend my evening watching that sunset go down from the water on Sibley Lake with a great open western view to the sunset, and then we'll probably load up and go downtown, because that's usually what we do, and find a great restaurant. There's always something going on the riverbank, catching live music, go dancing. There's always something to do here. That's one of the things that we just never run out of. And Brad says football. The thing that I've missed the most about having Darkwoods is having to give up my season Demons tickets. That's a hard call, but there's always something to do, and so we're always bringing family and friends in. It's Louisiana, so you can't pass up good food. You can't pass up good music.
Right. And the food.
You know, but
okay, so we know Natchitoches has got the meat pies. That's New Orleans got beignets and everything, but you got your meat pies. But what for you when you go out and when somebody comes from out of town has never been to Louisiana, Jason, what are you going? And I'm going to ask you, Brad and Arlene too. What are you going to say you need to eat here that represents Louisiana?
You know, I've been here long enough now that I'm going to say I'm going to have to represent Natchitoches before I represent Louisiana. So we're always going to get meat pies first. That's just a given here. You know, I'm a big fan of frog legs.
Are you?
Frog legs and crawfish etouffee. I mean, we're going to go back to some old Southern and some old Louisiana staples here, and we do them just as well in Natchitoches as they do them anywhere else in the state of Louisiana.
Frog legs. I know you guys do that. I know it happens. I know, and that's a French thing, right? That's the frog legs is a French thing.
We do frog legs and we do alligator too.
I know, you guys. Like, I know it's like, okay, you know. So, Brad, what about you? What's coming up for your friends and family that have never been there to Natchitoches or Louisiana? What are you gonna say they have to eat?
Depends on the time of year. If it's the correct time of year, we have some things most people don't have. We have an alligator theme park right outside of town. So those who haven't seen alligators, we love to take them out to that. And then we also in the spring, it's crawfish boils. Any weekend you get a chance, we boil a few hundred mud bugs with your 200 or 300 closest friends and have a great time.
And that's when you put the corn in and everything, right? And dump it out on the table. Yeah.
And we all eat and enjoy.
Right.
Hey, we'll do it. We like to boil.
I see pictures on Facebook. You guys you like people. It's like, I think Louisiana, the entire state, just likes to get people together and eat good food, drink whatever, but have a good time. Music, family. It just seems like a very big community, and it's like whenever it's always community. There's a lot of people, right, Arlene? That's what it seems like.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
I thought that was what your backyard was for.
That's exactly. Everybody needs a backyard just so you can have like
and a front porch. A backyard and a front porch.
I want to know what you're going to feed people that have never been to Louisiana. What are you? You, by the way, made an amazing chicken dinner for Nancy and I. We will never forget that. Being on the road, she was like, "You're coming in and having a home cooked meal. I'll never forget that." You're the only person who thought that way.
Well, that's Louisiana for you. But, I was born and raised in New Orleans, and I'm a seafood girl. I love my seafood. I like my Louisiana shrimp. And I remember as a young girl, we used to go to the lake in the summer, and we used to catch our own blue crabs and net. We thought that was really cool to tie, chicken necks down to the net so that would, attract the crabs. And then we catch our crabs and then go home and have a crab boil, But what will I fix for? I can fix some shrimp etouffee or some shrimp scampi pasta. Good gumbo, but gumbo's more for the for not so much during the summer months because it's so hot, but certainly in the fall and in the winter. Oh yeah, some gumbo and crawfish pies. I know we talked about meat pies, but can't leave out the crawfish pies. So yeah, we can throw something. We can throw something on the table and have a good time and have a good meal.
What are you going to do with friends and family that also say, "I'm coming to visit you in the fall"?
Hop on the boat and go on a ride on the boat down Cane River and just kind of take it all in and relax and just
That is
sometimes
your thing.
Sometimes we all get caught up and rush, but it's nice to sometimes just kick back and slow your roll and shut it down,
I want to go on the boat.
I want to go on the boat because you always say that on the show, and you always talk about getting on the boat. I'm like,
go on the boat.
So when we come, we want to get on the boat. Okay.
Okay, I got you covered. We got you covered.
Okay, so I just want to say she sent me the list of accolades, as we're talking here, and like seriously, okay,
it's crazy.
It's a long list, but I just want to say they got the best places to travel each month in 2018 through the Expedia travel blog.
Man,
Holiday Trail of Lights, Festival Event of the Year from the Louisiana Travel Promotion Association. Note that I said Louisiana. I'm trying. New Orleans Magazine, Top State Festival.
Wow.
December last year, they got the it's one of the 8 tax-friendly cities where to retire.
Ooh.
Hello.
Oh, look.
And then
Anybody
next
that's
week,
tax-friendly, we're moving.
Yeah, there you go. Next week, we're going to be, the Lieutenant Governor of Louisiana, Billy Nungasser, is going to name Natchitoches as one of the official retirement cities. There's going to be 8 of them named for the state of Louisiana, and Natchitoches is going to be one of the official retirement communities in the state of Louisiana. Wow. So we're excited about that.
And as you've heard, everybody on the show today, the most festive place in every state from BusinessInsider.com. One of the top 10 best weekend getaways in Louisiana from triptodiscover.com. Okay, and 50 Christmas towns in all 50 states from cheapism.com. Wow. Like, seriously, and the South's best Christmas festivals from Southern Living. Okay, it goes on and on and on and on, and well deserved, as you know, as you can hear. And all I can say is you'll really know when you go there. That's the best thing to do. And I thank you all for joining us again, everybody. Let's take a look at these events. So October 12th through 14th is the 64th annual Fall Tour of Homes. Again, natchitoches.com, natchitoches.com, just to make it easy. And then also, again, the 12th annual Natchitoches Classic Car Show. Go to natchitoches-car-show.com. Oh, that is happening September 28th, 29th. And also the Natchitoches Dark Woods Haunted Attraction, darkwoodshaunts.com. Did I get that right, Jason? You want to give everybody the dates again for that?
September 21st, weekends, September 21st through October 31st.
Okay. And everybody, and did I get your date right there, Brad? For the car
Yes,
show?
you did.
All right. Okay. Awesome. Thank you all for joining us. And again, natchitoches.com is where you need to go for everything to do with Natchitoches. Natchitoches.com. Also, if you go to nationalparktraveling.com, type in Natchitoches, and you'll see everything we've covered since our trip there. We're going to be back there this fall. We can't wait.
I know.
Shenanigans will occur. There's meat pies and a beat of beer. I'm just saying.
Well, we have a new beer brewery coming to town here in Natchitoches, so it might be up and running. We can get you some local crafted beer here on Cane River.
Oh, we're going to time that perfectly. We're going to time that perfectly, and hopefully we get to go hang out with Jason and get scared to death, because why not? That's the thing to do. I don't know if we'll make it in time for the car show, because we're coming later, but you never know. We might see the twinkly lights on our way back home, you know. So definitely everybody.
Or you might just get here and decide to stay. Who knows?
I know. Apparently,
we're kind of like that.
I know,
actually.
and we keep looking at Natchitoches. I'm just saying, and I keep looking at things, and I'm like, uh-oh. But everybody, natchitoches.com, and everyone, thanks for joining us. You can go to bigblendradio.com to keep up with our schedule of shows. We air Sunday through Friday. You can listen as shows go live or anytime on demand through all kinds of places, through Blog Talk, YouTube, Spotify, you name it, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, all that good stuff. And of course, we've got to play some music for you.
Yeah.
So after our conversation, we're definitely going to have to play Ford F-150.
Yeah.
This is from Misha Shellhoff, an incredible guitarist. And it's off of his album Double Take, and you can go to mishamusic.com to learn more about that. But Ford F-150, Brad, do you approve? You know.
I do.
I thought you would.
You probably would.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thank you, everybody. Here it is, a Ford F-150. You take care.
Take care.
Take care.
Thanks.
Awesome, dude.